The following episode of the Maui Chamber of Commerce's Business Matters was originally broadcast on June 4th, 2024.
It's time now for Business Matters, brought to you by the Maui Chamber of Commerce. And now, here's your host, the president of the Maui Chamber of Commerce, Pam Toompop. Good morning, Pam.
I'm here. Good morning, Gary. How are you?
Very good, very good. It's another nice Maui day.
It is lovely. Perfect temperature up here, up country this morning. Well, thank you so much for all you do for our show, and welcome everyone to Business Matters. We're going to talk about Lahaina this morning, and it is our great pleasure to have Joe Pluta with us. Joe has been a licensed real estate broker in Hawaii since 1972. He graduated from the University of Hawaii with a BBA in travel industry management and real estate. He is a current member of the Realtors Association of Maui, Lahaina Rotary, and volunteers on a number of community committees. Joe is also the past president of the West Maui Taxpayers Association, the Lahaina Rotary Club, and the Maui Hotel Association. He is currently president of the West Maui Improvement Foundation and president of Church on the Go. Very active and involved in the community, and for those who regularly listen to our show, know that Joe is a frequent guest of this show to give us updates in Lahaina. So good morning and welcome to the show, Joe. Joe, are you there? Can you hear me?
Oh, no, now I can. Just now. I didn't hear you before
awesome.
That. It's like you just went, like the phone went blank.
Oh, no.
Didn't hear anything until now you just said, Joe, you're there again. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, so glad to have you on the show this morning. I know I was just giving everybody a little bit about your background and your bio and mentioning that you are the president of the West Maui Improvement Foundation. And one of your big projects for the West Maui Improvement Foundation is the Oluwalu Fire Station.
Yes, it is. We've been working on that, getting better fire protection here ever since Hurricane Lane in 2018 destroyed 21 homes in West Maui and Lahaina, and we're trying to get better fire protection. It's amazing that there hasn't been another fire station here in Maui for 18 years. I think it's closer to 19 years now, and the highest priority of a new station was in Paia 18 years ago, and they still haven't broken ground yet. So
yeah,
we were saying as a community, we needed the county to help work together with us and let us do what we did in the Pili. We built our own fire station, never been done before in history in the state of Hawaii, and nor has it ever been done since then. But with the 750 homes in the Oluwalu area, over 5 miles away from a fire station, and the highest risk protection class insurance costs, which incidentally are going to really go even worse.
We go up higher, yeah. What's the fire for that? Absolutely.
I've heard just nightmare stories about 1,000% increases in insurance premiums. That's quite an increase when you go up 1,000% extra than what you were paying.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's our concern. We're working on, and the good news is, we've got almost all the money we need to do it. We're just about $800,000 short for extra infrastructure costs that we grossly underestimated for sewer, water, and improvements into the area where the fire station's to be located in Oluwalu. We had a donated parcel there that is, and all the work around it is, including our station, is also now being on a stop work order. The victim of a stop work order that was issued by the county against Olawalo Homes Inc. and the developer there for the state of Hawaii historic preservation issues. I guess they found some EV or Hawaiian bones there, and I was like almost a year ago, and they just made everything stop and no progress, and all that time. It's a very concerning, serious issue that with the communications and trying to rectify these things, it's been way too slow. It's no reason why things need to take as long as they're taking to clear up matters, and now there's more. So it's a long been a sensitive subject. I know. I've been in Hawaii for 50 years now, so I know how important and sensitive this whole thing about not disturbing people's bones and wherever they are, but they're literally all over the place in Olawalo. I mean, there was major battles there, and I don't think you can find a place where there isn't going to be any bones. It's everywhere. So there's got to be a way, I think, when it comes to necessary public health and safety, that these things can be reinterred some to a different location, some respectful, culturally accepted way, or developments can be built around them in some way. It's just got to be a way for things to go forward that are necessary things for health and safety for the living, the people today that are alive and need it.
We've seen that in major developments. Maui Lani was another area, for example, and in Kahului, Wailuku area, and they have memorial areas. They have set aside memorial areas within the association that have been done, and we've seen it done before. So it's we see other developments on Oahu where they have a kahu come out and bless and have a process, as you mentioned, for interning and memorializing those who passed there. So it does seem to be. I didn't realize it was holding this project up as well, and so that's concerning. I know that you got the land donated, and I know that there's been some people questioning this amazing land donation from Peter Martin to provide the space for the fire station. And one of the questions that came up is, did his donation of land allow for him to do some other development? And my understanding is that was purely just a gift. That wasn't a part of any process that allowed him to do any further development. Can you talk a bit about that and what's accurate there?
Yeah, you're accurate. This was totally unrelated to any construction plans or anything that he has envisioned for that area. That site was picked by the fire chief and his battalion chiefs on touring the area, what would be the best location for a fire station. And they chose the spot. We didn't know who owned it. We had to research who owned where the spot was that they wanted the station at. And we found out it was owned by Olawalo Homes Inc. And that Peter Martin's on the board of directors at Olawalo Homes Inc. He met with their board, and they said yes, they'd be happy to donate us 2 acres of land there for our fire station. And no strings attached. Of course, if they can't get water to where fire station is, where this lot is, and there's a stop work order for anything in that area now for over a year. It's like we're being victimized by ourselves again. It seems like half of our problems here are self-inflicted. We're trying to protect ourselves against overdevelopment or irresponsible growth or anything, with more layers and layers and layers of regulations and procedures and rules, and it just, everything slows everything down or stops it completely. What we're really trying to do is convince the council and the administration that we have to all consider about changing the way we think about the way we think.
Yeah.
And what that sounds kind of funny, but what it means is that, change has got to occur. Fundamental change in health and safety is a reprioritization. We have crises issues that go continually from one administration to the next, and they remain unresolved. And that's ridiculous, in my opinion. Very unfortunate. In our opinion, until crisis situations are being dealt with completely, any non-crisis situations should be on the set aside or deferred, and all the county's resources and energies should be to resolving for once and for all these crises that we have. Now, we have serious crises here with affordable housing. People are just any kind of housing, for that matter. I mean, it's not there is no housing here, and if we have problems with people getting water, then they're going to remain to be problems.
Right. Yeah, the water is going to be an issue, but of course, as we heard, the water was. I mean, even though we had water, but unfortunately the water wasn't flowing when the fire was going. So water is going to be one of the key things that we have to address for this fire station.
Yeah.
Joe, you mentioned you're about $800,000 short. What was the overall budget for the fire station, and how much have you raised to date?
Well, our plan said about $2 million we thought would be the magic number that we were looking for. And then we started seeing shipping costs in over $100,000 in shipping costs extra that we had planned, and that's unbelievable. And then we look at the infrastructure improvements that have to be made to bring water and sewer to this lot, and it being prepared to have the modular fire station be able to just be constructed on it, which would take less than 60 days once it gets here. But the site work, is going to take a year, and that needs to be getting underway right now. It's being victimized on hold. Part of the stop work order that the State of Hawaii Health Preservation Division District has got for that area. And so we need the help of the governor and the mayor to see what do we need to do. The question I always like to see us asking ourselves is, we need these things. What's stopping them from happening? And what can we do to ourselves to remove these blocks so that these things can be dealt with?
Yes.
It's not like, here's this problem, so that's it. It's over. It's done. What? It can't be stopped just because there's a problem. Problems happen. Problems will always happen. Where's the county has got resources and abilities to solve these problems. When it comes to health and safety, there should be no higher priority.
I agree. One of the things that, and I think this is really important to share for people, because this was something that you folks, right after the 2018 fires, you folks have been really diligently working on this. As you said, this is the private sector coming forward, and the foundation coming forward to solve a public sector issue. You've gotten land donated. You've brought in the majority of the money. All you need now is the money for the additional site work and bring in the water and sewer infrastructure. But I mean, you have the community coming forward to solve a problem. And now you're held up, and I think we really need to kind of rally people around this, and of course the chamber stands with you because we know how hard that you've been working on this, and we know how important this is. And I know that there are some people in the community. This has been planned for a long time, and of course you have really your stone's throw away from finishing this project. I mean, $800,000 is a lot. But that is doable. That can be raised.
Well, yeah, we're hoping that the Hawaii Community Foundation is going to be.
But people are also saying, well, what about something
about
closer to Lahaina Luna Road? And I know that after these fires, you had ideas on how, again, using these modular stations that can be put up quickly, they could and because they're also more affordable than what it takes to actually, really start a whole project from scratch and construct a fire station. What do you think now is the possibility, especially now that you're held up with some of the things that are going on, but what do you think is the likelihood of getting some other stations in Lahaina as well that are near to where we saw this incredible?
Yeah, well, thank you. I'm thinking most everybody would agree that something up Lahaina Luna Road close to Lahaina Luna High School and Lahaina Intermediate and Princess Nahiana Ena and the dense, highly dense local community population and all those thousands of kids there every day. Thank God that there was no school that day with the power was out, because the terrible tragedy could have been even more terrible, because there was no way out for these children to go. They would have been trapped in their schools and, victims of no way to escape. It's just so frightening to me. I thank God, as I said, there wasn't school in session that day because there was no power. Because it's just the thought of the horror of all these parents and children who would have perished, because there's death traps up there. There's a one way in and one way out, the same way you went in and went out. And the cars, one car's blocking the road. That's it. Nobody's moving at all. They can't get out and they can't get in. We have some serious redesign issues when Lahaina gets going back here. Roads need to be widened, and I'm thinking it's going to take the county to do some eminent domain land purchases to allow that to happen. Because as it stands right now, we should not let these death traps for our children be the way they are right now. It's not adequate in and out, ingress, egress for the health and safety of the people. So many people perished in that fire that wouldn't have perished if they could have got out.
Right.
But they couldn't. They were fried in their cars with their family and dogs and pets because they couldn't get out of their car and go anywhere.
Yeah. And I know
just horrific. And that's something that cannot be repeated again. Action has to be taken. We can't allow this to happen. I had mentioned once to the mayor, I said, this topic, I said, these little one-way in subdivisions that are one-way out of Lionel Road there are death traps. He says it shouldn't be allowed. There should always be an escape route and another way in or out. There shouldn't be just one way in and out because we're asking for trouble. It's right there. It's going to happen. You're going to be, serious problems. He says, well, it's been a common practice in Hawaii to have developments like this with one way in and one way out. Well, if that's been a common practice,
yes, our time for a change.
It's got to change.
Yeah.
But
well, it might have been the common practice years ago. Again, that area. What I keep trying to remind people is that area was a historic plantation town. You had multi-ethnicities from everybody who worked in the plantation there. Over time, the dynamics changed. But, and over time, the area was built up even further with our housing crisis, where you had generational families living together. You had more tenancy in some of those areas. You had a lot of cars on the roads because the roads were very narrow and there wasn't adequate parking. There's just a preponderance of challenges, and one of my new concerns, and by the way, I am all for allowing additional ohana units on property. The Maui Chamber of Commerce definitely supports that, but we also want to make sure that when we allow these additional ohana units, that we have to accommodate off-street parking. Because, even if we have to go up and the garage is underneath, but we can't continue to block roads with more and more cars so that when there is a disaster, people can't get out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly right. So that's a serious item that we hope can be accommodated somehow and changed. We've done that before. When they did the bypass, they relocated all these homes that were on the corridor for the bypass, condemned them, and made alternatives for those people, moved them to those areas close by, but out of the way for the bypass to happen.
Yeah,
that's another project. Actually, we started the Lahaina bypass project like 38 years ago, and while we were disappointed it didn't go north as originally envisioned and we requested, went south instead, and we're left with this issue around getting adequate access in and out of it for the people and residents there in that area, especially the schools. It's just solely dangerous and a self-inflicted problem on the horizon next time. The thing that everybody forgets is this: after this terrible tragedy, the worst one in the history of the United States, and the hundreds of lives that were lost and everything else, is that it's all over now. No, it's not all over. The next fire's literally on the way. Our little fire station effort is the only physically concrete thing that's being done to help us be better prepared in West Maui with increased fire protection. There's nothing else going on.
And you know what scares me now, Joe, is that, here you are, and you've worked on this system so that it could be, like you said, it could be rapidly put up. You could, in a couple of months, if the land was ready and you were building the fire station and you're bringing it in, and as you point out, costs have been rising ever since you first proposed this. You've had the land option for a long time. And now we don't even know. With the work stoppage, there is no deadline. There's no time frame to say, okay, you're saying it's going to take some time to do the improvements, but the problem is we don't even have, it's not even on the books for a time frame because we've got this work stoppage.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I hear over and over again is, what is the plan for greening the land? and getting the land great. Again, years back we demonized sugarcane and said we wanted cane out, and once we took all that cane out and the land was not green anymore, now we've got new issues. So somebody said the other day bananas would be good because they hold water and you could have food and you could have a lot of water retention with banana trees. What is the plan, or what is happening to help green the land out there right now?
Nothing, that I can see. You're right. For over 20 years ago, when the Pioneer Mill stopped sugarcane business and stopped growing sugarcane, which used to be a huge buffer protector for Lahaina from where all these fires were originating near the Ola Wallo area. And it would blow towards Lahaina, but then they would hit that sugarcane. Hundreds of acres of sugarcane that's drenched in water. It is a ton of water to make 1 pound of sugar. I mean, which is, now that's gone. So what's there? It's brush, and it just goes up. It burns, and I think making landowners responsible for the fire breaks and protections that are necessary between their properties and other properties is something that's a whole new priority that should be taking place immediately. It's not waiting. There should be no waiting. Since there hasn't been another fireman hired in the last 18 years, and they've had this tremendous strain of stress on them, because they only let you hire firemen if you have a fire station. No new fire station, no more firemen. So it's terrible that we don't have just a fire safety division of increasing firefighters and in fire prevention expertise to visit areas and businesses and land areas and work with the property owners, landowners, and things to make sure that the immediate fire breaks are being made now, and emergency plans are being made to be able to see the problems we had in these last two fires, the after action reports, all these issues that it came up. Okay, what are we doing to resolve these issues? How we can't just keep on repeating them. So the priority of all this, I think, really needs to be really increased. It's really increased. There should be no non-crisis issues absorbing the county's workforce, staff, money, and resources that could be deferred, and the reprioritization of health and safety to be getting the benefit of those reassignment of those personnel to them, the money and resource rechanneled to health and safety as well. And it's not time to just keep kicking the can down the road, as it seems to have been the practice the last 12 years. So,
yeah, what would be if we were going to say what would be your top 3 urgent priorities that you'd like to see done?
Well, more housing in West Maui, changing of the alignment of the bypass access ways in the communities, the Lahaina Luna Road, so that they have alternative ways to escape that are adequately wide enough, or safe enough, capable of handling an evacuation, and then a plan. We're working. We have been working for the last 5 years on an emergency plan for West Maui, and we've got a draft of it on our website at westmaui.org. And we've been talking.
Yes, you do. I'm glad you brought that up, Joe. Because I know that you're very open in your planning process, and I know that you're always welcoming the public to comment. And so sometimes it's hard when people think about, well, the community thinks, okay, well, the county's working on a plan, or how do I give input on a plan, or I have these ideas. But if they go to westmaui.org and they find your plan, there's ways on your website that they can share information and comments.
Yeah.
And really, for all listening, and whether you're in West Maui or not, this has really devastated our West Maui community. But we're looking for all great ideas. And, summer is here. It's starting to get a little warmer even up country. But I know a lot of people are very worried about summertime and what's happening with greening the mountainside over in West Maui. And there's so many interesting and creative ideas. And how can we start, coming together, presenting those plans and working with our administration and with our mayor and our governor, and kind of uniting to say, hey, there's got to be other ways that we can come together and help, because, unfortunately, sadly, we're still ripe for more tragedy with a lot of the growth in the land and how dry things are going to be over the summer. And continuation of winds, the likes of which, we just are experiencing in new ways, this past year. And it's really been remarkable. These, constant gusts of wind, it really needs high speeds.
The hurricane season is starting again.
Yeah.
Upon us again. And we still, like I said, there's this clog in the works here where we have got the State of Hawaii Health Preservation District stopping the work where our fire station is supposed to be built. And then this whole thing about how long is it going to take for us to recognize that whatever is blocking the needed things that we need as a community now, because of ordinances, laws, regulations, concern, whatever they are, let's talk about them and let's get them resolved. Don't just stop everything because, there's a problem, so everything's stopped. I guess some of the affordable housing at Hululehua, which I was just so disappointed to learn, it's shovel-ready, ready to go and to build everything to do with this. I think the council just gave the developer millions of dollars extra for infrastructure costs. But the water issue, I guess, is a problem that's literally stopped the development. We've got to resolve that water issue. There's so many people say, well, there's just not adequate water there. Well, what happened to it? There was so much water when we had Maui Maui Land and Pine had all these their pineapple fields going, and Pioneer Mill had all the sugarcane things going, and just all kinds of, and there was no water problem. All that stopped. There's been no bigger decrease in development. How did this water from all of a sudden get so magnified where it's literally stopping things from moving forward? The things we need. It's ridiculous. We've got to, resolve these things. Everybody's interest is at hand here. Lives are at stake, and people want to live here. This is their home. West Maui's been their home. They've lost their homes. They're being forced to drive. So we got all these extra cars on the highways having to commute back and forth. The rush hour traffic here is unbelievably terrible. If people coming, 7,000 or 8,000 people coming to West Maui every morning from over the Poly to on the one-way in we have, only to get to work, and then so the traffic is backed up for miles, and then when they all leave right around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's the same way now, going the other way, all the way back to, with a normal 10-minute drive turns into an hour.
Yeah.
Sitting there.
I was surprised. I was out there the other day, and it was the first time. I guess periodically I must have missed those windows, but in the afternoon I definitely caught one the other day, and I was like, ooh, I was really surprised. And so for those who don't make that commute every day, we're not realizing some of the extreme issues you folks are having. Let's switch gears for a minute, Joe, because you've also been a long-standing Rotarian. And I know that your club and other Rotary clubs have really been jumping in to help West Maui. And of course, you've got 2 Rotary clubs in Lahaina as well who are jumping in. Can you talk about some of the work that you've been doing through Rotary to help the community and to work with the youth? I know you've been doing extraordinary things there.
Well, Rotary's, Rotary's been trying to help people all over the world. Somebody's at my door here now. I'm sorry, I better answer my phone.
Okay, go ahead.
You didn't get the message about coming Thursday?
No.
Did you look at your phone? She texted you.
I never received
Well, while Joe is talking to his guest, I just wanted to let everybody know, if you know somebody who has not gotten an idle loan, for those who have been going through the SBA process on disaster loans and have been directly impacted by the wildfires, those loans seem to be going through okay, but if somebody is stuck, please call us at the Maui Chamber at 244-0081 or reach out to us online. But the idle loans we're finding, which are those loans through the SBA where people are indirectly impacted by the wildfires due to economic conditions that have changed as a result of the wildfires, we're finding that some of those have gotten a little bit stuck. And what we are working through the Maui Chamber of Commerce directly with the expediting team at the SBA is on how to get those loans unstuck. So again, call us at 244-0081 or get online and email us. You can also look at our social media. We've got a place where you can contact us and be put on a list so that we can help track your SBA loan and work with an expediting team through the SBA to make sure that your loan application is getting reviewed in a timely manner, and they're getting back to you with what they would need to help with getting you a loan. So please do that. Joe, are you back with us?
I'm done. Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm sorry. I had a issue that I dealt with now. So going back to this, so do we go double back to what Rotary's involvement has been in this?
Yeah. Let's talk about some of the things they've been doing in Lahaina to help.
Well, I know that Rotarians out throughout the world, like many others, even non-Rotarians, had their eyes on Maui ever since the Lahaina fires. And the outpouring of aloha and compassion is phenomenal. And Rotary, people who are in Rotary, they have a model service above self, and they have what's called a Rotary four-way test. That's why I joined Rotary. Number 1, is it the truth? Number 2, is it fair to all concerned? Number 3, will it build goodwill and better friendships? And number 4, will it be beneficial to all concerned? And this philosophy that Rotarians have came to the forefront when they saw what happened to us in Lahaina. So Rotary clubs all over the entire world have been sending money to us in West Maui, to other Rotary clubs. I think our Rotary District 5000 here in the state of Hawaii got over $2 million from donations from different Rotarians throughout the world in a fund which they've been sending out to different causes and needs and people's immediate concerns here. Our little club is what classroom supplies for the teachers. We just gave the teachers at Lahaina Luna High School $500 each for classroom supplies for them to purchase, and they said that was so awesome. They're They needed that. A lot of them had to spend their own money to do that.
Yeah.
They were, I think that budgetary wise, we were given $250 a year for classroom supplies, which is wholly inadequate. And so they really appreciate us doing that. We've had various little small businesses that had issues that we've assisted them with. There's people who've had no income or no help or support from FEMA or anybody else that we gave money to for them to help get them back on their feet. So Rotarians, and just not just Rotarians, the people in the world have shown their best thing when it comes to what aloha is. I think we need more of that aloha from our own government. As I said, the reprioritization of health and safety taking place over any personality problems that people have with anybody, any non-crisis issues that could be are gobbling up money and resources and personnel that should be reassigned and channeled towards resolving our health and safety crisis issues. Instead, so I'm sorry, I went all over the place with that.
No, very, you're not all over the place with that. I mean, you're absolutely right. Rotary we have many amazing nonprofits and civic groups, and everybody has been working together. And but I know how connected you are with Rotary, and I really appreciate you mentioning the 4-way test. Sadly, since joining the chamber, I haven't been able to attend the meetings the way I once did, but that was the thing that made me join Rotary too, is that 4-way test and that commitment to say we're going to uphold these standards. And Rotary is is an exceptional organization, and in large part because of that. But as you point out, I mean, we have had just an outpouring of love from people across the globe. We've been with the Las Vegas Chamber, who's held, to be respectful for Lahaina. They've held meetings in Honolulu, but looking at how they can help and things they can do, they immediately contributed to the chamber as well, along with other chambers. But it's just great to see how cherished Maui is and how cherished Lahaina is, across the globe. And that there's this love and outpouring, and I think it's been, we're coming up on a year. I constantly hear other comparisons with other disasters, working with people, on the SBA team that I've gotten to know really well, and we've had a lot of interaction with some of these different groups, and how they say that our community is so different with our culture and our history and some of those things that are unique to us. Is in some sense the disaster is like every other disaster, and in some sense it's completely different from anything we've ever seen. And we're we had heard Senate President Kochi talk about on Kauai how the former mayor there after Aniki totally overhauled planning department. Their rules and regulations to streamline things to get things rebuilt quickly. And so we need to start looking at these new models, and we are. I mean, there's the Maui Economic Recovery Commission, which is a joint task force with the mayor and the governor, and we are looking at some of these things. But our movement, people keep saying to me at different levels, our movement is much slower. And, it's for a lot of the things that you mentioned and other things that are, just cultural or, are different ways of looking at how we're going to do things that take extra time. And how do we address those critical things that we hold dear in terms of our culture and our practices, and accommodate that while ensuring that we're moving forward quickly so that, one, those impacted have security, and two, we don't experience more devastation while things are held up.
Yeah. So, again, I just don't really believe that everybody is coming close to accepting the idea that the next tragedy that we had in Lahaina is literally on the way again. And we got to do something about it. We got to prevention, and increase our ability to respond and have a plan, have an emergency plan for evacuations for all communities and pocket communities, and that can be workable and not death traps as they are currently. We just got to. There's so much that needs to be done that could be being done now, but it just doesn't seem like it is the highest priority that everybody's. We have a problem, and then everything stops instead of moving forward. So we've got a whole bunch of affordable homes, I guess, on the horizon here by Kapalua Airport in Pululehua that are currently completely stuck, unstopped because there's water concerns, which is ridiculous. In our opinion, it's not like being concerned about water is not ridiculous in and of itself, but there's conflicting reports about how much water we have and how it can be utilized and how it is being utilized and how it's being overly regulated, I guess, with a new state of Hawaii Water Commission that was got the power to stop anything from happening if it doesn't meet whatever criteria they want. But we somehow whatever these blocks are to resolving the crises issues that we have for health and safety need to be resolved and need to be fixed. And we need the government, our local government, to really take leadership in that and take charge of that and prioritizing that. And it certainly doesn't seem to be noticeable in the budget or an actual action experience of seeing what the county's doing.
And my concern is, as and I've heard different people say it, Alice, we said it probably 6 months ago. She said, as we had her on the radio show, before we were going into the budget, I remember her saying that one of her biggest concerns in terms of, we were talking about like priorities within the budget, and she said, honestly, if you want to know my biggest concern, it's going to be keeping lights on at the county. We still have this looming thing that a lot of people don't quite understand yet, which is we have a lot of lawsuits, and the county and the state are self-insured, which means that will come out of our budget. That is money that, as we get into that arena, and someone said to me the other day, well, of course, co-counsel at Mercy County would be working on our defense with the team that we already have. But usually, given the depth of things like the special counsel, other attorneys have to be hired, and whether the county wins or loses a case, there's still huge costs that will detract from other budgetary items as we get into, go forward in the next few years with these lawsuits into that arena.
Yeah. So, hey, we're sitting there a little bewildered still here with trying our best to find out how we can get these areas like the housing that's waiting to be built right now at Pulilehua restarted again. They're ready to go. They shouldn't be stopped because of these water issues. We got to resolve that, whatever that issue is. The thousands of homes that have been lost. All the water they were using is not being used anymore right now. Hasn't been. And it's going to take a long time before we get up to that level again. Even so, where the heck's all the water?
Yeah, I think that's the critical thing, and I will tell you, even through the chamber, we have so many people who could do rapid development housing, and they've been sitting on the bench. They're just waiting to get started. They have stuff that can be rapidly built in a matter of days, and they're just waiting for somebody to say, if we can put it here and get it, like you said, if the infrastructure is available, they can bring it together. And even if the infrastructure can't go underground, we have above ground solutions, and we've had them from month one of the disasters. I mean, literally within 2 weeks, solutions were coming forward to house people in a different way. And so, and I know I know there's been different decisions by FEMA and other groups looking at other resources, and that's changed our community in a big way for the future in terms of rental costs and other things. So we have to sort of backstep some of these other decisions. Joe, you have been, as always, a great pleasure to talk to. Thank you for your tremendous insight. I'm sorry, we could talk forever, and you always have such important information to share. And so the priorities are critically important now, and we want to get on with that. For everybody who is listening today, thank you for tuning in, and we hope you'll join us next Tuesday for Business Matters. I just want to wish you all blessings and aloha for a beautiful Maui week. Ahoy ho.